Hi everyone. I'll just give a few more seconds for some more people to join. All right, we might get started now. So thanks everyone for coming on and joining us today. Welcome back to those that were just with us. But really excited to have you all here for this iSAMS and Schoolbox Showcase session. Today is going to stay fairly high level, but the goal is to give everyone a better understanding of iSAMS as a SIS, how it works alongside Schoolbox, and what that partnership can look like operationally and strategically for schools. A big part of today is also hearing directly from a school already working with both platforms. So we're really lucky today to have Gareth joining us as part of the session as well. I'll quickly introduce everyone presenting today. Firstly, myself, Andrew Carlton, one of the product owners here at Schoolbox. A big part of my role is working closely with schools, our product teams, and partners like iSAMS. Joining us from iSAMS is Kerry Dodd. Kerry has over a decade experience across the EdTech sector, specialising in supporting schools through digital transformation and helping schools better leverage technology and data within their own environments. Having recently relocated to Australia, Kerry also brings a really valuable and global perspective around how technology can be better support diverse school communities. We're also really fortunate to have Gareth Thomas joining us today, the Director of Technology at Dulwich College Seoul, who will share some real-world insights around working with both platforms inside a school environment. Just a few quick housekeeping items before we jump in. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared afterwards. Please feel free to add questions into the Q&A function throughout the session, and we'll leave time at the end for additional questions and discussion as well. We know we've got a lot of ICT leaders and technology teams joining today, so we'll try and keep things practical, relevant, and focused on the bigger picture, rather than getting too deep into the technical implementation details. For anyone newer to Schoolbox, Schoolbox is a platform designed specifically for kindergarten to year 12 schools to support learning management, community experience, and day-to-day school operations. At our core, we see ourselves as trusted partners for schools, not just from a technology perspective, but in helping schools create connected digital environments that genuinely support staff, students, and family. Our aim in everything we build is shaped around how schools actually operate, because schools are incredibly unique environments. A big focus for us is helping schools create a more connected experience across learning, school operations, and the wider community. When schools work with Schoolbox, they're not simply implementing another software platform. They're embedding learning delivery and community experience into day-to-day operations of the school. Importantly, though, we also strongly believe schools should have the flexibility to build the ecosystem that works best for them. That's why partnerships, like the one we have with iSAMS, are so important to us. Rather than trying to be everything for everyone, we focus on building strong integrations and connected experiences between platforms that schools already know and trust. I'll hand over properly to Kerry shortly, but before I do, I wanted to briefly frame why the partnership between Schoolbox and iSAMS works so well. iSAMS is a globally trusted school management solution with really strong capability across areas like student management, attendance, administration, reporting, and compliance. One of the biggest strengths from our perspective is the maturity and flexibility of the platform, alongside a strong API and integration-first approach. That creates a really strong foundation for connected experiences between systems. Schoolbox and iSAMS have been working together for a long time now, and we support a significant number of shared schools globally. Something I really value about the partnership we have with iSAMS is we don't only engage when we're resolving issues, but we are actively working together, looking at ways both platforms can evolve to deliver more value to schools through deeper integrations, improved workflows, and more connected experiences. At a high level, iSAMS and Schoolbox complement each other extremely well. iSAMS provides a strong operational and administrative foundation for schools, while Schoolbox focuses on the learning, engagement, and community experience layers. With that, I'll hand over to Kerry to take everyone through iSAMS in a bit more detail.
Thank you, Andrew, for the warm introduction, and thank you again, everyone, for taking the time today to join the webinar. You might be wondering why a marketing person is here presenting today on a fairly technical topic. Well, I'm here to provide the human element to why we're working more closely with Schoolbox to offer the best end user experience. Next slide. We believe the future of education should be about collaboration between partners. The world is evolving and moving at a faster pace than ever. We all know that. And EdTech solutions are having to keep up. This means ensuring that there's always a single source of truth. There's visibility at every level. Our systems are connected and we're giving back time. And next slide, please. We're not going to do a demo of iSAMS today. Doing this in 10 to 15 minutes would not do this system any justice. Having been with iSAMS for 8+ years, I can confidently say that iSAMS is probably the most comprehensive feature-rich SIS on the market. We offer everything from enrollment to academic reports, student well-being, to fee billing, payments, full GL capabilities to alumni management. Whilst we do most of it, we certainly won't pretend to do it all. We don't offer native LMS. Why? Because an LMS is a critical part of any school function and equally important as ASIS, which requires feature-rich capabilities. We leave the learning up to the experts while we focus on the full school management for strategic decision making. Next slide, please. But we also understand that no two schools operate in the same way. Our ethos is about giving schools the choice. And with our comprehensive APIs and partnerships through REST and public APIs, this allows you to choose the best digital ecosystem for your school. Next slide. We then take all this wonderful data and we give you the tool to visualize in real time using our iSAMS Central platform, not to be confused with another vendor that's C with Central. With iSAMS Central, all the data automatically feeds into pre-built dashboards, or you can build your own, allowing you to review all the metrics that you need. For groups, this is a particularly powerful platform. It allows you to review your groups at a high level or drill down into individual schools or to individual students, all permissions based, which is a given. In addition, group admins can make changes in Central, which are pushed out to all iSAMS instances within the group, making group-wide reporting consistent and accurate. I could go on, but I won't. Next slide. But today is about the iSAMS, not only about the iSAMS system alone, but it's about Schoolbox integration. And no doubt, as IT, you'll be going off and doing your own AI researching. From a marketing perspective, who battles with this every day to ensure accurate information is being fed into AEO engines, my one plea is to please reach out to the human. You can reach out to either one of these handsome fellows who will be able to do a full demo of iSAMS. We'll also be at EduTech next week, so please do stop by the stand to say hello. Next slide. I just want to touch a little bit about iSAMS history because I do love telling the story. It was founded 20 years ago by former students who attended rugby school in England, and as part of their sixth form project, they set out to develop what was at the time the first fully web-based SIS on the market. Today, iSAMS is trusted by over 1,700 fee-paying international independent schools across 93 countries. We have local support teams across the globe, which gives our schools round-the-clock support. Next slide. There are over 3,000 of us across the company, with 600 of us working on the IRIS education products, including iSAMS. And there are now a dozen of us based across Australia in multiple states, exclusively working on iSAMS to support our growth in the country. Next slide. I am genuinely excited to see the value schools are now seeing in iSAMS, and we're really looking forward to welcoming more schools to the iSAMS family. And I hope many of you today will reach out to us and will one day become part of that family. Next slide. I'm going to speak a little bit about this partnership, what it means for the end user experience. And this is exactly the ongoing discussions that we're having with Schoolbox. So next slide. For a teacher perspective, this is the common complaint we get, is jumping between systems throughout a busy school day. So how do we eliminate this blocker? By offering a unified experience through a single portal. No matter the system that powers the activity or the information, we need to be making it easy for the teacher to go through their day in a single platform. And next slide. For the parent, this is a personal struggle that I feel every day. My kids attend a school that doesn't use iSAMS yet. And if I say I have 3 different apps on my phone to be able to access information, it's incredibly frustrating. Parents are time poor, we know this. We need to give them a system that is easy to access information. It doesn't matter how it's being powered. To be blatantly honest, the parent probably doesn't care which system is being used. They just want to access the information easily through a single portal. And this is exactly why we're working really closely with Schoolbox to make this happen. Next slide. And for students, again, I see this personally with my teenagers having to struggle in different platforms to access the right information. We need to make it easy for our students who already have enough pressures on their plates. But you're probably wondering, this sounds great, but how can this be the new normal? In the next slide. And the only way is through strong partnerships. And this is exactly what we're doing with Schoolbox. We're sitting around the table, jointly coming together to recognize there must be a better way for the end user and coming together to agree on a joint roadmap. I'm going to leave the technical elements for Andrew on base on this later on this webinar. As Andrew has mentioned, we've been working with Schoolbox for many years. We've trusted by many schools. And with that in mind, I'd like to invite Gareth to join me as I ask him a few questions about his experiences with iSAMS and Schoolbox. So Dulwich College is part of the EIM, Education in Motion, and they've been with iSAMS for a number of years. They have 15 schools globally within the group and educating over 11,500 students. Welcome, Gareth, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Jerry.
To get us started, could you tell us a little about Dulwich International Group, EIM of schools, and your own school, Dulwich College in Seoul?
Sure. Okay, so Dulwich College Seoul is part of the wider Dulwich College International and EIM group of schools across Asia. The group includes Dulwich colleges. We have schools in Beijing, in Shanghai, in Suzhou, in Singapore, and from August 2026 also in Bangkok. We also have bilingual schools which operate in China under the DeHong brand. We have Chinese high schools, and we also have other partner schools that operate across various locations, including green schools. I believe there's one in Bali, and we have a school in Switzerland, which we use for term camps. So one of the major strengths of this network is we can collaborate between our campuses on digital transformation, system development, currently working on AI, safeguarding, cybersecurity. Dulwich College Seoul itself was centrally located in Sokcho, which is sort of ground zero in Seoul. And we're a very different campus to the other Dulwich colleges. Unfortunately, we don't have the large sort of sports fields, running tracks, simply because of the cost of land right here in sort of Gangnam. We deliver a British style education with IGCSE and IB, and we're currently investing heavily in AI and innovation, and we have a large new innovation centre being built over the summer and term 1 next year, which I'm sort of really looking forward to.
You sound incredibly busy. So from an operational perspective, what role does iSAMS play day to day at your school?
Okay, so iSAMS is effectively the operational core of the school. It sort of acts as a central repository for student data, timetables, parent information, reporting, attendance, and staff data. So a large number of our other systems rely on data originating from iSAMS. So these include things like Schoolbox, which we use for our LMS and our parent portal, our reporting systems, safeguarding systems such as CPOMs, communication platforms such as ClassList, and our parent evening system. One of the biggest advantages is we reduce duplication and manual process. So rather than uploading data to multiple systems, we can store it in one place, and then this will feed in to the other systems we are running. We are improving efficiency, consistency, data accuracy, and also it reduces the administrative workload.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I feel like of a lot of the conversations I'm having is this duplication of data that is the number one headache for a lot of schools at the moment. So if we just talk about how are iSAMS and Schoolbox working together for you, particularly around the parent experience and sharing key school information?
Okay, one of the major goals of implementing Schoolbox has been to create a more unified and sort of streamlined digital experience. As I said, it provides the underlying core data infrastructure. We've moved across to the parent portal this year, which allows us to put our timetables on there, parental communication, news, all in one place rather than having parents log it into separate systems for that. We're building on top of that. We're implementing the LMS, which is just finished and is being populated by staff to be rolled out in August. And this is going to be used as our sort of our central learning platform for teaching and learning. So we're just streamlining things and getting everything into one place. When I started at the school 6 years ago, we had a variety of systems all doing different things, and slowly I'm sort of trimming these back and bringing them all under the sort of Schoolbox iSAMS umbrella where I can.
Amazing. And so since moving towards this more connected ecosystem, and you've mentioned iSAMS kind of being at the heart of it, where have staff and parents noticed the biggest improvements in terms of efficiency and overall experience?
Well, the biggest improvements have been reducing fragmentation. As I said previously, staff and parents had to navigate multiple separate systems to find information. Now, with one sort of more connected ecosystem, the experience becomes more intuitive. For staff, there's reduced duplication of work, which is always popular. Improved data accuracy, simpler communication workflows, and easy to access information. For parents, consistency, convenience, ease, and a trust in the reliability of information. One of the biggest gains we've had is the feedback that we've had from parents since we've implemented this system. They really like it.
Yeah, happy parent, happy life. So for other schools, I mean, we've got a number of schools on the call today who are going through a similar journey. Got any lessons you've learned along the way around building a more connected and manageable ecosystem?
I think the biggest lesson is that integration really matters more than the individual features of specific systems that you may have. Sometimes schools purchase systems based on an impressive demo, and while a particular system, maybe perhaps sector leading in what it does, if its integration with what the rest of the systems you're running at your school is not there, then you're just causing more work and pain for yourself. Also you're looking at the long-term sustainability, interoperability, user adoption, all these things are important. A major lesson is to simplify wherever possible. Every additional platform adds complexity, support requirements, training overheads. So that's my key thing here is to trim and streamline things back.
Amazing. So Gareth, maybe if you can just stay on the webinar. I know Andrew's going to now go through a little bit of detail, but we've got a Q&A at the end. I'm sure there'll be a few questions that will pop up, but thank you so much for your time.
Interestingly, I probably didn't mention this. I'm sure Schoolbox would be pleased. I said about streamlining our systems and bringing everything under the umbrella. Another exciting project, which I've just had the go-ahead for, is we're moving our trip system under the umbrella of Schoolbox as well. So everything will flow from iSAMS into Schoolbox and from Schoolbox then into our trip system. So we got full integration there, parent communication, approval. It'll all be done on the one system.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you, Gareth.
Thanks, Gareth. Thanks, Kerry. There were some great insights there. It's great to hear the ongoing journey that you're on there, Gareth, and it's wonderful to hear that you are implementing Paperly. And I know we were talking about this the other day with Kerry and how iSAMS also works so well with Paperly through there. So it's that whole ecosystem approach. And I can also relate to your parent experience there, Kerry, being a dad as well, and having 5 different apps across my 2 children across 2 campuses in one school. It's a bit to keep up with. What I wanted to do now is take that shift from the strategic side of the partnership into what it actually looks like inside Schoolbox day to day. Because actually, as Gareth was saying, the ultimate test for an integration is that it needs to be valuable and create a better experience for the people that are actually using the system. So the staff, the students, the parents, and even the administrators. So one thing we have focused heavily on over time is making the integration straightforward for schools to configure and maintain. The integration points between iSAMS and Schoolbox are designed to be simple, reliable, and manageable through standard configuration. That includes areas like authentication, student and staff syncing, timetable data, and enrollments. The student profile is a great example of the value of a connected system. Within Schoolbox, staff have the access to the information they need directly. Within the platform, they're already actively working in day to day. That includes things such as wellbeing information, timetables, contact information, and enrollment details. The key benefit here is reducing duplication, improving visibility, and ensuring staff can access consistent information without constantly moving between those systems. One of the simplest but most important operational wins is the automated class and timetable management. Rather than maintaining this system separately across multiple systems, Schoolbox can consume the information directly from iSAMS. This means students are enrolled into the correct classes, teachers have the right timetables, and the learning environments stay aligned with operational changes happening within iSAMS. For schools, this significantly reduces manual administration and helps maintain consistency across the platforms. From a student perspective, the goal here is clarity and readiness. Students arrive into a single environment where they can immediately see their timetables from iSAMS, learning resources, due work, and announcements. Because Schoolbox is able to bring all this information together into a single surface for the students, they get a far more seamless and personalized day-to-day experience. A similar situation for families. The integration helps create a much more connected parent experience. Parents can access information about their children, communication from the school, grades, and reports. For many schools, this becomes one of the biggest improvements, creating a clearer and more connected experience for families without the manual setup that would normally have to be required. One thing worth highlighting is that this is a partnership and it continues to evolve. Today, we already support key integration areas like the staff, student, and parent data sync, timetable syncing, class enrollments, and allowing iSAMS to act as an authentication provider for Schoolbox. And moving forward, one of the areas we're actively coordinating closely with iSAMS on is write back of assessment data directly into the iSAMS platform. I want to wrap up today talking about the key message, which is really around partnership. Schoolbox and iSAMS are designed to complement each other, with both platforms focusing on their strengths while working closely together to create a more connected experience for schools. Through that partnership approach, schools can improve data consistency, simplify operational workflows, and create better digital experiences for staff, students, and families. I wanted to say a big thank you to Kerry and Gareth for joining us today, and thanks for everyone for taking time to attend. Now, we're planning on having some question time and discussion, so I'll allow people to put some questions in. Whilst they're coming through there, though, I've had a few thoughts in my head, Kerry, during the presentation. I wanted to ask you a question, if that's okay. With your relocation to Australia, how do you see Australian schools currently using SIS platforms compared to other regions? Do you think that the schools here are generally making a better use of the systems, or are there areas that we still have a lot of opportunity to evolve in?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, Andrew. Thanks for that. So, I mean, I think what I've seen, I've been attending a couple of conferences over the years now in Australia, and I think Australian schools are generally very progressive in their approach to technology, which is great, particularly with platforms like yourself, Schoolbox. I think where the LMS is really at the front of the teachers and the day-to-day learning. I think in many ways, actually, Australia is leading the way in that respect. Where I think things get a little bit more challenging is the overall tech ecosystem. Seeing and speaking to so many schools who have quite a built up complex tech stack over time, with lots of different systems trying to connect to each other. It's almost a full-time job just managing everything running smoothly. And I think naturally that introduces additional security and data risks, especially with you dealing such critical student information. I think what's also been surprising is probably the number of schools that are still running on-premise solutions and managing their own databases internally. I think that adds another layer of operational overhead that schools probably are increasingly looking to move away. So I know, I think while Australian schools are definitely ahead of terms of innovation, particularly with LMS sitting at the heart of that kind of teaching experience, I still think there's quite a big opportunity to simplify the underlying systems and make better use of the SIS as a more kind of connected strategic platform.
No, it's a really good insight there. Gareth, I've got a question for you as well. With all the changes that are happening and how busy we've already noted you are, do you think that on the other side of this that you are going to get more time back in your day to focus on other things that are more important to, where you see value?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole reason that we're on this journey. And, as you said, I've got several plates spinning at the moment. Once we get this over the line, then I'm hoping to be able to divert more time to other things. I mean, AI is something that's come into the forefront, and believe it or not, I still actually teach as well. I teach in one class. I'm sort of head of department as well as director of technology. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the classroom a bit. But say once we have this in place, we should have a streamlined system. So we just make sure that the data going in to iSAMS is all correct and formatted, and then that should seamlessly feed through into our other systems. That's the plan anyway.
And off the back of that, do you think that the new setup that you've built, the new ecosystem, is actually easier to skill up people into helping you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, having breaking several systems into Schoolbox, with the trip system coming in now, once you get people trained up using the same user interface, the same environment, the same logons, then it's a lot easier than if we directed them off in different directions. So we're definitely seeing the benefits of that already. The same true for our parent community. They've got a sort of one-stop shop, if you like. Once soon as they log into Schoolbox, then they've got everything they need there in terms of timetabling, reports. The teaching and learning environment's going to be coming on. The trip system's going to be coming online next term, and I'm really looking forward to some of the developments coming through as you guys develop your partnership more, particularly with the write back from Schoolbox to iSAMS. I'd love to see parents being able to validate their own personal details and where they change or where they could possibly be incorrect, be able to sort of update them themselves and write that information back into iSAMS, and that will save a lot of admin as well.
That's good. And Kerry, for schools that are here today that coming up to the end of their current SIS contracts, maybe even in 12, 24 months time, when's the right time do you recommend to start the conversations and to start reaching out to you guys and Callum and whatnot, and starting that journey? Is there a time where it's too early, or is there a time where it's too late?
No, it's never too early. Honestly, the earlier the better. And I say this because there's no one-size-fits-all timeline. Every school is going to have a different requirement, processes, procurement procedures, etc. So it's, a 500 student day school is going to look different to a 1,500 student boarding school in terms of complexity and timeline. So what we typically recommend is to kind of work backwards. So start with your target go live date, and from there set kind of clear milestones across your evaluation, your procurement, your implementation and training, and then to build in some buffer time, because these projects almost always take a little bit longer than expected, especially when you have to factor in kind of internal alignment and change management, which is usually where a lot of those delays lie. I think I'd also encourage schools to engage with vendors like us a lot earlier, even if you're not actively looking yet. By engaging earlier kind of helps you understand your delivery times, resourcing, what's realistically achievable within your time frame. It also makes the process much smoother. For us to understand your timeline and your internal process early on, they tend to have a lot less back and forth later, which obviously does help it. And then from an iSAMS perspective, one of the things that we do differently is we provide our schools who onboard with us with a dedicated local project manager at no additional cost. And we do have a local person here, and this really helps to support the schools through that journey. So we've seen implementation delivered in as little as 6 months. For example, we've got a school in WA is onboarding here, and within that time frame. We also do kind of a phased rollout approach. So we focus on getting the core data right first, and then we kind of layer all the additional data functionality over time. So this allows schools to kind of manage change effectively and not all at once. So they train the staff as they go and ultimately get much more value from the system in the long term. So now is the simple answer.
That's good. Perfect. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for spending your Tuesday afternoon, evenings with us today. Much appreciated. Thank you to Kerry and to Gareth for spending your time with us as well and sharing your insights with everyone. And as we said, the session has been recorded, so we will be sharing it afterwards. And I've just got heads up, there is one QA question.
Yeah.
So I
think this is from, I can see it too, Andrew, it's from James. Hi, James. So James asks, is timetabling all done through iSAMS, or is it a third party like Timetabler used? So we integrate with most of the timetabling solutions. What we find is schools like to use the timetabling solution that they're familiar with. So usually what we find is they use the timetabling solution to get the timetable ready for the academic year ahead. They get it into iSAMS once, and then everything gets managed in iSAMS thereafter. Because we have a lot of our modules, because iSAMS is a modular system, we have a lot of our modules that are integrated with the timetable. So for instance, we've got a cover manager module, which basically does the staff cover. So that automatically connects the timetable. So if any staff changes happen, that automatically publishes it out there. Gareth, I don't know if you have any comments around the timetable and how you utilize this in your school?
No, it's exactly what you said. Our deputy head academic writes a timetable. I think I forget the name of the software he used. I think it might be the one you just mentioned. Then he provides me with an export file. I give that to my IS manager. She imports it seamlessly into iSAMS, and then it should be there.
And then your team manages everything within iSAMS thereafter. Yep.
Yeah, the rollover is done. We usually do a 2-day system. As soon as everything hits iSAMS, then it goes out usually overnight with the APIs to the other systems, and within 2 days we check everything, make sure everything's aligned. We've got a 48-hour turnover to go from one school year to the next.
Amazing. Yeah, and James, we work with all the leading timetable providers. So yes, Timetabler is definitely one of those.
All right. Perfect. Don't think there's any other Q&A for the moment. So again, thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Gareth. And enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon, evenings. Thank you all.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.